Hey everyone, this is Emanuel here, your certified body code practitioner, also certified group energy facilitator. I'm excited to continue this wonderful book. We are on page 81. So on the bottom here, this is actually probably one of my favorite sections so far that I read. It talks about on the third paragraph, or actually two paragraphs above proxy testing, it says it's important to note that it's not necessary to physically touch the subject. If the surrogate is within 6 feet of the subject, you should have no problem testing correctly. Your body will detect the energetic changes that take place in the subject's body in response to yes or no questions, and these changes will show up in your muscle testing as strength or weakness in the surrogate. So here's what's really interesting is that as soon as you get a certain distance from someone, you can actually muscle test someone. And what's interesting is also that's the same way I tell people, like when it comes to offensive energies you may have. So negative offensive energies towards your wife, towards your son, towards a coworker, towards a boss. The reason why they may treat you a certain way is because as soon as you get within a few feet, 6 feet, 7 feet, the emotional energies are almost like floating around you, that they can kind of, their subconscious is sort of what I would say is read your files. They're reading your files. And that's the same thing that we're getting when we have someone come into a room and we feel off about that person. You never know. One example could be you love your father, and then this person who comes in has an image of hatred that puts him in a state of hatred when he thinks about his father. And you might be like, yeah, we're not going to get along because I just don't get along with people who don't respect their father, or whatever. Like something is offending you, and so that affects you. Or maybe they have lots of trauma with divorce, and you've been through divorce, and so their energies are affecting your energies, whatever it is. But that's really interesting that how it mentions how when it comes to when you get closer to someone, a certain proximity, now you have access to their field of energy of trauma, and that you can start muscle testing people. Obviously, you want their permission to do that. You can't just walk up to anybody and let me start muscle testing you 6 feet away. I don't even know you. I wouldn't do that. But it is interesting that our bodies read the files of other people depending on the length of where you are distance from them. I found that very fascinating. Okay, page 83. And the first paragraph at the end, it talks about how when you do proxy testing, tester and proxy, and they have a subject. So like the tester is someone that's pushing down. That's, you see Jean Nelson doing that, testing on her daughter, proxy. And then there's a subject over there, right? But what's really interesting is that this is a very clear sign of entanglement, quantum entanglement. You know, it's a good word to have on the tip of your mouth. When I talk to people about long distance, I also kind of think of it as also like calling someone. This is a very easy, relatable thing. Think about it. When you get a specific cell phone, you get a sort of, there's certain phone or certain numbers that match you with the location of where that phone is. And you're calling someone, it goes to satellite, then it goes all the way down, and then all of a sudden you have access to that person. You're listening to someone real time, basically on the phone, which is incredible, right? It's the same way with a cord. With a connection with someone. It's almost like you're sending a huge phone call long distance to someone, and you're having access to certain information, which is just to help heal their body, and that's it, or have their body heal itself. It's not to get someone's lottery numbers, their bank account information. It's none of that stuff. It's really just for the purpose of helping someone out energetically through emotional baggage. And a really great quantum entanglement story that I loved back in the Emotion Code book was the, I can't remember what it was. It was the PTSD veteran that they put a little bit of his cells into like a petri dish, and they put some node equipment, some things that would test to see if there's any activity with these cells. And this person would watch like kamikaze videos, you know, watch like very horrific warfare videos. And you would think that inside the body, they would be having sort of a reaction of PTSD with their cells and their body becoming inflamed and all these different things. But also the cells were being affected next to him in the same room. They were also causing it to have issues. It was like kind of, there was some reaction, if you will, with the white cells that were in that petri dish. Then they moved that dish a couple of miles away, or a couple of rooms away, and a couple of miles away, And they tested it, that they kept showing videos of kamikaze stuff. This person was being traumatized, and the cells from far away, his own cells, were being affected. So we just had this amazing, marvelous universe that we're only scratching the scratch of the scratch, you know? And you want to be open to new things. And what I tell people is this, is that if you're not open to new things, then you must be okay with the lifestyle you have. This is a really key thing I tell people all the time. If you're totally okay, like I'm happy with my love life, my wealth, my business, if you're happy with everything, you know, then I wouldn't keep an open mind. But most people, I would say 99.9% of people, are longing for something more than what they have. And the answer, obviously, in my opinion, is Christ. But other than Christ, it's figuring out how you can elevate your body more to be able to be a vessel, to be able to give faith, hope, and charity. Now, it's going to take a lot of sanctification. It's going to take a lot of time to do that. But this vessel was made to put down the natural man. And emotion code is one way to assist you so you don't become reactive and feed the natural man. They say, you know, if you had two wolves, you know, who would live, right? It's the one that you feed. Same thing is, if you feed your body good stuff and you remove trapped emotion, remove emotional baggage, you're going to grow. You're going to grow into a very powerful wolf. And same thing with our spirit and our mind and our body. We need to eat more than just bread alone, as in the commandments they say. We have to have more substance, spiritual substance, and actually unprogram a ton of things that from this 3D world that has put us in there. And I just went on a tangent, but hopefully you're following along with me. But anyway, the point is, I thought that was very interesting, that the military PTSD story. Okay, page 84. What I've noticed too, sometimes, just to keep it kind of simple, I think Brad is what I love about his work is it's very elementary. It's like A, B, C's, and it's so good because that's what we need. A lot of people like to jump to I want to go into portals and vortexes and you know, cleansing the water. It's like, okay, just calm down, just take a deep breath. You know, we all have time for that stuff. But if you don't know how to release one trapped emotion or one body code energy, then it's like you're missing the good stuff. Like you can do a lot of work. You know, people talk about past lives and I always kind of make a joke about it. I'm like, we already have enough baggage in this life. Even if we didn't touch the past life, you can literally change a lot of things in your life. And you don't have to get to that point, you know? Really, the benefit is that we have a system, it works. The only X factor is you. And so what I've noticed is when you meet with someone and you take a time out and ask for help, what I've noticed in my practice is the connection's already made. So not contrary to this book, but imagine if he said that. There'd be a little bit, whoa, okay, automatic connection, you know? I need to say, my name's Emanuel. Excuse me. But you don't have to do that. You can, like, it seems, watch, just test it next time. When you tap in with someone, you're asking for help, to help them out. Muscle test, am I connected to them? And you'll test positive. It's kind of a cool thing. So you don't really have to say, my name is Emanuel. Oh, now it's strong now. I did that at first for a very, very long time. But you'll notice if you just ask for help, you ask for a connection, it's going to happen automatically. Okay, this is very powerful. Tips for muscle testing, page 85. Brow chakra, meditation, inner voice. These are really powerful stuff. So obviously you want to reset your brow chakra. If you have time, do body code and remove any imbalances that are affecting the brow chakra. This will all help you out with intuition. But there's another thing too that my wife and I use that's very powerful. It's called the inner voice. Now I don't have the technology in front of me, but it's this it's the AO scan. And every morning, like without a doubt, if you saw my schedule, something that I'm super militant is tapping into my inner voice. And this machine covers, up to 8,000 frequencies that come from your voice, and test you to see which emotions you're overusing, which ones you're suppressing. And what's interesting is that I use that every single morning. When I wake up, I don't know how I'm doing. Am I in a good mood? Am I in a bad mood? Am I having a bad day? Whatever. It's like I'm human, right? And I just go ahead and put it on there, and I just go ahead and start scanning my voice. I go, my name is Emanuel. I am Emanuel. One of the key things you want to do in an inner voice scan is I am Emanuel. Okay, so whatever your name is, if your name is Cindy, I am Cindy, and you can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just start saying whatever you want to say for the next 10 to 12 seconds while it's recording you, and then once you have that done, it goes through a full body scan. Well, I don't do a full body; I do an easy scan, but it checks my major vitals, checks to see where there's some redness. What I mean by redness is that there's some problematic areas in the body, and then it shows me 4 different tones, and 4 different tones that will assist me in my emotional state within 15 minutes total. And now they've changed the AO scan where you can do it for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes. You get to choose how long you want to listen to it. But one of the key things that I just learned today from the Solex conference is the last tone has to do with emotions you typically suppress. And if you're someone that continues to suppress things, guess what? You're gathering more trapped emotions. You're just adding more. You're like a Velcro to trapped emotions. So what can you do body code wise once you find out the tone for the emotions you typically suppress? Let's say, are there any, let's say for example, it's fear versus confidence, and that's you tend to suppress your confidence. You know, you feel more fear. I would just say, are there any imbalances that cause my voice to show that I value fear more than confidence, or I exude fear, or I experience fear more than confidence, and do a body code session with that. And then I would listen to that bottom tone more. You can choose which tone you want to listen to. Listen to that one, the one that you suppress, because guess what's going to happen if you don't? You tend to probably get the same readouts because you're suppressing the same thing. You haven't changed much. Yeah, sure, it helps you emotionally for that moment, but long term, if you want to like not continue to suppress, we have to make you feel safe to express, or think about like, you know, where am I holding fear in my life? Like write it down on a piece of paper. What am I adding fear to? What fears do I have? Why is it easy for me to feel fear more than faith? Just write down some stuff. Then do a body code session. What is something that propagates me to feel fear, and not only feel fear, but suppress it? And just dive in there and do a full body code session. Then now you may start changing. Your inner voice might change because you're actually going to the root cause. So anyway, if you are interested in an inner voice session, I believe it's $55, but talk to my wife. It's healwithjess@gmail.com. Again, it's healwithjess@gmail.com. She's the one that's the QLA. She knows all about her stuff. And she can, if you send her a voice recording of your voice, she'll tell you what it takes to get one, and then she will explain to you via video what it's doing. Okay, let's go to page 86. It talks about causes of untestability. What does he go through? Dehydration, neck misalignment, and energies. And I want to kind of open up the energies. He said trapped emotions, but it's any energy could be preventing testability. One thing that I want to tell you about is, have you ever worked with someone and then all of a sudden you like your answers are going woo, like all over the place? You're like, what is going? It's almost like you lost connection. It's like the phone fizzled and just kind of cut off, and you're like, okay. So that can happen, and I want to tell you that very rare, but it does happen. And maybe you're my client, you've experienced this when I said, okay, just take a deep breath over there for a second. I just need to like regain connection. And I've seen that live on stage where for some reason all of a sudden the person becomes untestable. It's because that person, it was like a heavy processing it's doing now, and perhaps it needed like a breather. So we know, hey, can someone bring him some water? Just take a few deep breaths. Okay, are you testable again? Oh, there you go. So that could happen usually it happens sometimes mid-session or 3/4 in the session. You'll remove a preconception trapped emotion or something really big, and then you're like trying to move on. You're like, I'm getting weird answers. Like I'm getting yes on 2 of these and yes on that. Like, okay, what's going on here? Don't freak out. It's just that body is like taking some time going like, okay, don't connect with me anymore. I need kind of a time to just a breather. And I encourage the client, take a breather, take a deep breath, have some water. Okay, let's test you again. Okay, are we going to that same area? Are we not? Okay, and then just kind of do that. So that may happen. I call it like a short circuit. Also, it talks about how this is a gift. We can't go like promote that we are going to find out what the lottery numbers are. Okay, it's like not what it's made for. Or who should I marry, you know? One thing that it can predict in the future that I've seen before is, and Brad talked about this, was he said that somebody who was smoking marijuana, which does have a lot of history of shrinking the brain, you know, But another one is that it causes joint pain, okay? And what he was able to do to tell this person is like, oh, I'm going to continue smoking marijuana, blah, blah, blah. One of the reasons why I tell people don't do that is because typically entities will attach to you if you're doing hard drugs. If you're doing hard drugs, a lot of addicted entities on the other side that want to just like into your body, and now you're either being possessed or you're being guided in a negative way. No bueno, not good for the marriage, not good for your workplace, not good for your self-esteem, depression, anxiety, all this, you'll get bad nightmares, physical pain, all these different things entities do to you. So kind of stay away from that stuff. But what's interesting is that, speaking of predicting the future, he was able to muscle test, be like, okay, so I know as a chiropractor that marijuana causes osteoporosis or pain in the body, joint pain. If he keeps doing this in 5 years, where will he have some pain? Or where does he have pain now? And he found out that just muscle testing, his body would know what pain there is now, right? Because that's not the future. So, and he says, yeah, your left shoulder and your right knee. He's like, oh, wow. He's like, I actually have pain in my left shoulder and my right knee. And he's like, okay. And what about in the future? You know, what's going to happen next? It's going to be his other shoulder, or his chest area, or his lower back, and then his neck area. So he was telling him, like, if you keep doing this 5, 10, 15 years from now, these are the pains you're going to have. And the body can know that. The body is a way of predicting, like, if you keep doing this, this is what's causing this issue. Also, you can also check to see how much one thing is doing to a symptom of your body. Let's give you an example. Anxiety. You have anxiety, and it could be multiple things. Your amygdala could be off. You know, your heart could be spiritual, physical disconnection. There could be a lot of reasons why. But what's kind of cool is you can ask how much is something causing something. So for example, if I find a pathogen, I go, look, I found a fungal thing. We all know that fungal infection causes anxiety. You can ask that person's body, how much is the fungal infection affecting their anxiety? And go 10, 20, 30, 40, 40, 93. So 38%. Okay, what else can cause anxiety? Heart walls. How much is the heart wall contributing to your anxiety? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 98. So now, 48. Okay, cool. Then there might be some leftover stuff, like 9% left there, or 4% left there. And that could be other things. But isn't that interesting that you can test to see if someone has a major symptom? I'm tired, Well, you have something viral. How much, let's say they just got back from sickness, how much is your viral infection causing your tiredness? 4, 5, 6, 59, 58, 57, 57%. So then the goal would be to remove that virus energetically and see if the body needs anything else. But then you can see what else is that other percentage that we didn't get to, and go dive into the body, and you'll be surprised what you find. So whenever you do find a major culprit, somebody might say, I'm on this medication right now, and or I'm on I just got back from an X-ray, and for some reason I'm so tired afterwards. How much did the X-ray contribute to your tiredness? Oh, look, it's 17%. I wonder if she has X-ray energy in the EMF section. She does. Okay, let's remove that. Okay, what else is causing that tiredness? So just kind of give you some examples of you can test how much. Do not use muscle testing to make big decisions. That's page 87. I always tell people, I have one client who always asks me, can you tell me if this would be a good trip to do? Or can you tell me if this is a great career path I should go to, And my wife and I, we've talked about it too many times. We're we are not leading people in any direction. That's not our goal. We are not going to lead people to divorce either. People who are not getting along. I have a lot of clients who their family's going through some rough times. It is not my position to say, oh, you guys should break up or whatever. I'm not there. What I am for, though, is that hopefully both are healing so that they can get to a better place and make the right decision, whether it's to break up or stay together. And it'd be great if both of them can heal. If not, one can heal, the person who I'm meeting with, and then get enough clarity to see if this is worth investing in, which will have no repercussions back to me, like I influenced that. But I always tell people, look, we're releasing a lot of stuff here. If I'm always releasing trauma from your husband, day after day after day after day, or your wife, vice versa, day after day, that should be kind of like a red flag for you going hey, I am accumulating trauma every week. This will create body issues in the future. What is life without health? And so that's on your decision, But I do tell people that, I don't want to be, if you're someone who's dealing with a very abusive person, whatever, I don't like to be the practitioner that wants to fortify you. Let's take the fire out, then go out there again, Tiger, and get chewed up again. I don't like being that practitioner. I'd rather be hey, let's heal you enough So you know either how to stand up for yourself, you know how to give your man another chance if that's what your body or heart wants. You know, that's where I come in. It's like, let you make the decisions, but from an empowered state, not from a reactive state. Okay, enough about that. But anyway, with big decisions, I would tell people, if you can, just focus on prayer. And with prayer, it's a very sticky thing, because some people, you know, everyone has a different way of praying. For me, what I do is I ponder in my mind the thought, and I ponder about the decision that I'm about to make. And then I ask, you know, Heavenly Father, can you let me know what I should do, blah, blah, blah. And then kind of sit in it, like, you know, like, and then also you might want to write down on paper the pros, the cons, just kind of like sitting on it, you know, pondering about it. And then something will feel good once you like make a move. It sounds like, I feel good about this, okay? Then when you're moving forward, you'll feel even better. This is key. You'll feel even better, even if it's not working for you completely. But for some reason, you're like in movement, and it's an acknowledgement of the prayer you're moving towards. So you don't just stay there. You don't like wait for a voice to come in, you know? Very similar to Old Testament times, you know? You have to bring up your sacrifice to the altar. They used to sacrifice animals all the time. But you putting action and pondering is the animal on the altar. And the Shekinah, or they used to call in the Old Testament, the flame that would come from the into the Holy of Holies would burn it up to show what? That it's being accepted by heaven, right? And so it's the same thing with getting answers to prayers. Is he wants us to ponder it and think about it and just be like, meditate on this, and then take action towards it. See how you feel. Now, if you're in the right track, it's usually a lot of peace, a lot of encouragement. You just kind of feel that. If you're kind of going the wrong way, you might feel confused, like, you know, just muddled brain, and, you know, something's just off, and like, I don't feel right. It's like your body will be receptive to the feelings and then go towards the feelings. Now, some people say, well, I'm getting rejected in business. This can't be the right way. Well, what if I told you have to get rejected in business to be successful? Then you're kind of using an excuse to leave something that you should be doing. So I always tell people, if you are getting rejections or it's kind of hard or whatever, how are you overcoming it? Are you overcoming it easier? Are you getting over it quicker? Are you becoming less reactive? Then that still is your path. It's just a hard path. You know, you don't really grow from easy paths, you know? So just a heads up, don't be scared if like something falls through, a meeting falls through, whatever. It's like, well, then if that was the case and that was not, you know, and God didn't give you a pretty strong answer, then Michael Jackson wouldn't be Michael Jackson. Then KFC wouldn't be KFC. And all these amazing, successful people that literally got 1,000 no's before they even got a yes, we'll accept this. So you don't want to be KFC person who tried something 2 or 3 times and be like, well, I got 2 rejections. God must not want that. That's not what I mean. It means that even in those rejections, your body and spirit will fortify you. Say, hey, keep going. Hey, you're on the right path, blah, blah. So now you've chosen a path. It's a tough path, but your body's trying to reinforce you and help you out. I have a lot of clients who sometimes use that. Oh, I've gotten some pushback. This must be where God doesn't want me to go. Sometimes, like, very rarely sometimes. But trust me, what if you went forward and God told you, no, if you kept going in that hard thing you kept doing, look where you'll be 5 years from now. And that's where I really want you to go, similar to Moses, Moses in 30 years. I'll give you the promised land, Moses, but you gotta hike for 30 years if you're okay with that. I don't think Moses knew what he signed up for, but he was chosen, and Israel chose him, and he had a righteous mission, even though it was hard. That's a very clear example of someone who was chosen, but his path was hard. Also, don't give up. It talks about hey, don't give up on yourself. It took me 3 months, guys, to figure out muscle testing. It took a while. I kept muscle testing trimester stuff all the time, like 2nd trimester, 3rd trimester. I was like stuck in utero, so I wasn't that good at first. You might want to, give me 1 second here. Okay, let's go to page 88. Sorry, I can't even read that. Oh, I couldn't see meridians. Yes, it's kind of funny. In body code, I never went to meridians. The reason why, I was scared of meridians. I was like, oh, like constant conception meridian, like governing meridian and splatter meridian, or I'm sorry, spleen meridian, bladder meridian, all this stuff. It made me nervous. So I forced my body not to go there. See, so again, you want to get back to anything can cause anything. You know, I have no idea why we're in gallbladder meridian. I don't know why we're on the left side, but here we go. You know, sometimes clients will hear me say that. I don't know what we're doing here. Let's just go in. And then I'll usually find out the description, and it actually makes a lot of sense. Okay, page 88. If for some reason you can't get the hang of muscle testing, don't give up. Keep practicing. And what happened to me, just to let you know, I was muscle testing for a very, very long time using ring and ring method. And then I started seeing images sometimes, very rarely though, like time to time I'll just be working on someone and then like a despair anchor image will show up, or a memory field, the clouds over that guy's head will just kind of show up. And I'm like, okay. And I was so skeptical that I would muscle test there, you know. Did I do the wrong thing? No, I just double checking, you know. So I just said, well, let's start from the beginning. I'm going to memory field. I guess I was right, you know. So you might get that from time, like a photo might just like a little quick, you know, show up. Your eyes will lead you sometimes. It's almost like if you just try one time not doing muscle testing, like pretend like you're about to do muscle testing, then kind of stop doing it and just see where your eyes kind of like lazily go, you know? And for some reason you just can't stop looking at something. That's your intuition trying to tell you that's the one. Not because you're like, oh, I think she was feeling this. No, it's like for some reason just like my eyes are going somewhere, you see? And so that is your intuition. And I started to develop that one probably after 6 years. So guys, it takes time. And I was muscle testing 100 people a week, but I love using ring and ring method. It's just my favorite method. And I still use ring and ring method when it comes to checking the age of the body. Okay, page 90. It just talks about you know, decoding and explanation. I always tell people, like, I like showing people's ages, and as long as you might want to write this kind of theme down, which is less talk, more healing. I used to tell it to my clients all the time. Hey guys, good news, less talk, more healing. And I'll find the age and I just say, hey, just give me one quick sentence what this reminds you of, and you'll get way more done during a session. It'll respect their time, respect your time, and it'll be more powerful. So just some people, they go into psychology mode. They want to be like, you know, talk to you for 20 minutes and then you're missing out on the healing part. So just make sure you let everyone know, look, less talk, more healing. Let's just do one sentence. If anything pops up, let me know, and then just keep helping them out. So hopefully these tips helped you out. And I'm so grateful that you're reading this with me, and I'm just diving in. I love reading this kind of stuff. So I will be doing the next 10 pages later on, and we will be working on page 90 to 100 next time, and look forward to seeing you guys there. Also, if you want to be part of the weekly Solar Room, we're doing confidence right now, conquering fear. Look for the link below if you want to do that. Also, for those of you who want to do an inner voice, you're like, hey, that inner voice thing, kind of to assist you with your emotional, how you feel emotionally within 15 minutes, like regulates you to emotional homeostasis. What's that all about? Feel free to contact Jess. Say you watched my video here on YouTube. It's healwithjess@gmail.com. Again, healwithjess@gmail.com. And again, thank you guys for tuning in, and I look forward to reading the next few pages. Take care.